Your back is to me, and I was just talking to a back.
No, I can talk to you too, Burt.
Thank you.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most unpredictable, chaotic, and wild talk show appearances and other interviews.
Sorry, I know you guys wanted to clap, but everything I'm going to say is going to be amazing.
Number 10. Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford get the giggles. This morning, we don't know if the cast had much chance to goof off on the Blade Runner 2049 set.
Are you a fan of the original?
Never seen it.
Perhaps that's why actors Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford had to let it all out during their This Morning interview with Allison Hammond.
Cheer up.
Well, you know, it's a bit of a bleak day.
She barely gets through their intro before the laughter starts rolling. And with a little booze to help things along, this interview derails pretty quickly.
You having a drink?
I think it's, I feel like that's where this is headed.
At one point, Gosling decides to join the crew, and Hammond later tries to recruit Ford for a potential La La Land sequel. Sure, the amount of time actually spent seriously discussing movie details is fairly minimal, but the interview could get any morning off to a great start. Number 9. Bromance Hilarity, Rotten Tomatoes. Jason Segel and Paul Rudd are arguably some of the greatest comedic minds of their generation. We imagine this interview would have been hilarious no matter what.
I don't play a lot of soccer, as you can probably tell from my physique.
Tell me about it, buddy.
Before it even has a chance to take off, the guys are already going on tangents, making jokes, and discussing an imaginary friend, Gideon, who isn't afraid to get violent.
I have my same best friend since I was 12 years old. He's awesome and imaginary.
His name is Gideon.
Yeah, he's great. He rides a unicorn.
There's even some acting involved. And why is all this happening, you ask? Well, to borrow a phrase from another of Segel's works, it seems to us that the pair had perhaps enjoyed some sandwiches earlier. Even if we learned practically nothing about I Love You Man, their dynamic here convinced us to see it.
This has gone horribly awry.
Number 8. Sarah Paulson and Kate Blanchett give Hoda Kotb the giggles today. Isn't it great when you can tell co-stars are genuinely friends? It just makes their interviews so much more entertaining to watch. Case in point, when Sarah Paulson and Kate Blanchett stopped by today while promoting Ocean's 8. Host Hoda Kotb wasn't the only one left with running mascara by the end.
This is going well for you.
We all wrote we all wrote letters. Say, please, give her something.
The two are hilarious together, constantly trying to one-up each other and making everyone, including themselves, laugh.
She was nominated for an Academy Award.
I was Carol.
She did not win. She did not win that one, okay, you guys?
I tried.
It's chaotic in the best possible way, but much more fun than if they had taken themselves or their jobs seriously. They practically commandeer the segment, but just as well, as Kotb is almost speechless from laughter. At one point, she even calls for backup.
How do you feel about Sarah now that she's not here?
This is a much better relationship.
I heard her.
Number 7. Joan Rivers fires back. CNN Newsroom. The late, great Joan Rivers was famously never one to shy away from sharing her most candid opinions, no matter how brutal.
Even with your fashion critiquing, while it's very mean in some ways, people can't wait to hear what you have to say. Really? It's not mean?
CNN's Frederica Whitfield ends up in the firing line in this interview when she takes shots at her famously savage brand of comedy and digs into her donning fur on the cover of her book. Rivers is quick to call out the anchor's antagonistic interview style and berates her over her hypocrisy regarding animal welfare.
No, this whole interview is becoming a defensive interview.
No!
Are you wearing leather shoes?
Yeah,
shut up.
I'm talking.
You know what I mean? I don't want to hear. You're wearing fur. You're wearing leather shoes.
I'm not an activist, but I'm saying
You're eating chicken.
Eventually, she tells her interviewer she's not suited to speak to comedians and abruptly ends the interview.
I really am going because all you have done is negative.
No.
All you have done is negative. I haven't heard I make people laugh for 50 years. I am put on earth to make people laugh.
As Rivers storms off, she makes sure to get in the last word, though we don't get to hear it.
Stop it with, and you do this, and you're mean, and you're that. You are not the one to interview a person who does humor.
Number 6. Don't tell Cara Delevingne she's tired. Good Day, Sacramento. The model and actress appeared on Good Day, Sacramento to promote her flick, Paper Towns, but her interviewers don't seem particularly familiar with her wry sense of humor.
The book is taught, I know, in a lot of high schools and such. Did you get a chance to read it, or do you even have time to sit and read? These days you're so busy.
No, I never read the book or the script, actually. I kind of winged it.
So, with every wince-inducing question, the conversation steers further and further off course, before ultimately crashing altogether. Delevingne responds to their awkward questions with plenty of charm and grace, although it's clear she's a little thrown by them.
What do you like about Margot?
I'm living my dream.
Specifically, do you have anything in common with her?
No, I actually hate her.
Also, just some friendly interviewing 101. Don't tell your guests they seem tired or irritable.
You do. You do seem a bit irritated. Perhaps it's just us.
No, I think it's just you.
I think it probably is.
And definitely don't tell them they need a nap or an energy drink. As the Good Day Sacramento team learned, it's a pretty surefire way to bring the conversation to a swift end. Number 5. Burt Reynolds and Mark Summers air out their grievances. The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Sometimes, when a talk show has multiple guests on at once, they bring out the best in each other. Other times, it unleashes utter pandemonium, like when Burt Reynolds and Mark Summers shared the spotlight on The Tonight Show. It all starts when Summers takes an irreverent jab at Reynolds' marital status, and that's when the water starts flying.
I'm still married, as a matter of fact.
Yes, well, you...
Now, as they might ask on Summers' Nickelodeon show, what would you do next?
Burt Reynolds just threw water on me. Did you notice that?
Well, the team on The Tonight Show decided to take a page from the Nick Show's book and bring out pies. It's chaotic as anything, but not a bad way to resolve conflict. Not to mention, it's pure late-night show gold.
You know, I don't mind that because I deserved it.
You deserved it?
I deserved it. I did it to you. I deserved it.
That's okay.
That's the kind of guy I am.
You know? Okay.
And I was saying to your wife the other night.
Number 4. Ye pulls a Ye. Jimmy Kimmel Live. Over the years, we've become accustomed to hearing Ye's train of thought in a plethora of televised situations. He left Ellen DeGeneres and her audience speechless with his realness monologue. And it didn't take him long to take over Jimmy Kimmel Live either.
If I'm afraid to be me, I'm no longer Ye. That's what makes Ye.
He agreed to appear on the show after settling a years-long beef with the host. But that doesn't stop Kimmel from asking those hard-hitting questions we all wanted answers to.
The Earth, what do you say? The sun revolved around the Earth,
right?
Vice versa. You know, so when you have modern,
but the sun,
futuristic,
I'm
not concerned about the specifics, sir.
The rapper goes on about his support for then-President Trump, dealing with the fallout of his controversial comments, wanting to live free of judgment, and how essentially no one's a bigger fan of Ye than Ye.
Everyone around me tried to pick my candidate for me. Mm-hmm. And then told me every time I said I like Trump that I couldn't say it out loud.
Number 3. Geraldo gets caught in the chaos. Geraldo, the late black civil rights activist Roy Innis, debates a group of white supremacists in this episode of Geraldo Rivera's talk show. Sounds like a recipe for disaster. Well, yes, but no one could have predicted just how far it would go.
When Roy Innis, the same guy who decked Al Sharpton, went after a white supremacist on the Geraldo show.
After one of the supremacists, John Metzger, uses an offensive term, a fight breaks out. Everything descends into utter mayhem, and even audience members get entangled in the brawl. At one point, someone throws a chair, which hits Rivera. It's hard to make out everything that happens, but ultimately, the host ends up with a broken nose.
Chairs went flying, and one of them broke Geraldo's nose.
You'd need a whole new word to describe just how rapidly and drastically this segment goes off the rails. Number 2. Joaquin Phoenix's Method Man appearance. Late Show with David Letterman. David Letterman is no stranger to the occasional left field moment or interaction on his talk shows. Jerry Lawler versus Andy Kaufman will forever remain one of late night's most infamous moments. And we'll never forget how Crispin Glover's unhinged act practically prompted the host to rage quit.
I can kick. Okay. I'm going to go check on the top 10.
However, we have to say, when we first saw this Joaquin Phoenix interview, we couldn't believe our eyes and ears.
How is that, the beard?
In what way?
Well, is it comfortable? Is it itchy? Is it? Are you pleased with it?
I'm okay with it, but now you're making me feel weird about it.
He could barely string sentences together and discussed a pretty wild career change he claimed to be undertaking. It all turned out to be part of a bit for I'm Still Here, his then upcoming mockumentary with Casey Affleck.
You don't see movies like this much anymore, and I was so gratified to see it, and you were terrific in the film. I really enjoyed your work.
Thank you.
Does that make it any less bonkers? Not really. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Mark Wahlberg gets friendly. The Graham Norton Show. Someone enjoyed their alcohol a little too much.
Sit there. Listen to the nice lady.
This is so inappropriate.
Harry Belafonte dozes off. KBAK TV. Not a morning person, perhaps?
Hey, good morning, Harry. Harry, wake up. Harry?
Yeah? Yes.
Wake up, wake up.
I can't hear anything.
Okay. This is your wake-up call, Harry.
Tony Danza doesn't want to be there. WJXX. This one derailed before it had a chance to start.
And those news shows are terrible.
Tony?
I'm telling you, I just realized it because I'm hearing the news show in the background. You know, you always think that you're doing those good morning shows, but this is one of those news shows. Kim, I'm telling you, this is crazy. I don't want to do this.
Don't call Jim Everett Chris. Talk 2. We get his frustration at being misnamed, but we can't necessarily condone his reaction.
Chris?
Tom Cruise's bouncy declaration of love. The Oprah Winfrey Show. One of the most bizarre things to happen on a talk show so far.
Have you ever felt this way before?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Madonna takes on Letterman and his censors. Late Show with David Letterman. We guess when you've been on the talk show circuit for as long as David Letterman, you're bound to ruffle a few feathers. This was certainly true for Cher, who made her feelings about him abundantly clear.
I thought that I would never want to do this show with you.
Now why? Because you thought I was
an ass.
It's also true for Madonna, who seemed to have some friction with the host.
Let's go kiss the guy in the audience. Why don't you go kiss the guy in the audience?
Why are you so obsessed with my sex life?
Yet amazingly, that's not necessarily what this interview is best remembered for. Rather, it's Madonna's provocativeness, suggestiveness, and how she made the censors sweat.
Oh, man. Damn thing seems to be stuck.
She also reportedly refused to leave after her segment and was taunted off by the audience. This interview is so infamous, it even has its own Wikipedia page. Do you recall an interview that went so off the rails that you're still not sure where it was headed? Let us know in the comments.
Take a little nap, maybe get a Red Bull. How about that?
Cara Delevingne, thank you so much.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.